It started the way most things do with aging. Not with a bang, but with a quiet shift. At first, Grandpa just moved a little more during the night. Nothing alarming, just the usual tossing and turning that everyone goes through now and then. But over time, those small movements turned into something more. He would groan softly, rub his calves under the covers, and sometimes even sit up suddenly like he'd been jolted. One night, we noticed him walking around the kitchen at 2 in the morning, just pacing slowly, holding onto the counter for balance. When asked, he smiled and brushed it off, just stretching my legs. But his eyes told a different story. They were tired, not just from lack of sleep, but from a kind of quiet suffering that he didn't want to make a fuss about. That's the thing about many older folks. They don't like to complain. Especially not Grandpa. He's from a generation that worked hard, stayed quiet, and kept going no matter what. But leg cramps at night, they don't care how tough you are. They strike without warning. A tight, stabbing pain deep in the muscle, usually the calves, sometimes the thighs or feet. The kind of pain that can make you sit up in shock, clutch your leg, and wait for it to pass, which often feels like forever. And for Grandpa, it wasn't just one night here or there. It became regular, 3-4 times a week, sometimes multiple times a night. And that meant sleep was broken, shallow, never restful. Imagine that for a moment, being 70-something, already needing more rest, but robbed of it every night by a pain you didn't invite and couldn't control. It affects more than just the body. It drains the spirit. During the day, he looked more tired. He became more forgetful. His walks grew shorter. His temper, usually calm and patient, grew shorter too. And again, he never blamed the cramps. But as we watched, we knew this wasn't just a small nuisance. It was something bigger. And he wasn't the only one. We learned from the National Institute on Aging that nearly 1 in 3 Americans over 60 experience frequent nighttime leg cramps. That's millions of people, quietly enduring the same pain. Some can't even describe it. They just know they dread going to bed. They stretch, they massage, they pray it won't happen again. And yet most nights it does. The thing is, not many people talk about it. It's not exactly a topic that comes up over dinner or on family Zoom calls. No one wants to admit they've been waking up in pain or losing sleep to something they can't even see. But this silence creates a real problem, because when people don't talk about it, they don't realize there are answers. Natural, gentle, effective answers. And that's what this story is about. It's about what we discovered for Grandpa, and how one simple fix, something so easy it almost felt silly at first, turned everything around. But before we get to the solution, it's important to acknowledge the problem fully. Because if you've been there too, sitting on the edge of your bed, legs stiff, heart pounding, not knowing why this keeps happening, you need to know that you're not alone. You're not broken. And more importantly, there is hope. This isn't about selling a product or making a promise that sounds too good to be true. This is about understanding what's going on in your body, gently adjusting the things you can control, and seeing real change, often within days or weeks. For Grandpa, that change didn't start with medicine. It started with a conversation. One evening, after another restless night, we sat with him at the kitchen table. A warm cup of tea, a soft light overhead, and just a little patience. He finally said out loud, "I'm not sleeping well. My legs just won't let me." It took him weeks to say that. And once he did, everything began to shift. That's the first step for anyone going through this. Acknowledge that something's not right, and know that asking for help isn't weakness. It's wisdom. We began looking into what could be causing this, what could ease it, and most importantly, what wouldn't interfere with his other medications or routines. What we found surprised us, because the answers were not hidden in medical jargon or expensive equipment. They were in the simple things: the stretch of a muscle, the balance of minerals, the way the body winds down at night, the food on the plate, the glass of water before bed. Small choices that have been overlooked but made all the difference. And that's what we'll share here, step by step. Each part of this story will guide you gently through the reasons this happens, what can be done, and how you can take back your sleep without fear or confusion. Because even if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your body still wants to heal. It still responds to care, consistency, and kindness. Grandpa is living proof. So if you've been losing sleep, if you've been silently enduring those midnight cramps, stay with us. This isn't just information, it's a message of hope. And just like Grandpa, you may find that your turning point is closer than you think. Information in this video is for reference only. Please consult your doctor for personalized advice. As we began to help Grandpa with his cramps, one question kept coming up. Why now? Why, after a life of moving, working, gardening, and raising a family, did his legs suddenly feel like they were betraying him in the middle of the night? That question matters, not just for curiosity, but because once we understand the why, the solution starts to make sense. The truth is, after age 60, the body changes in small, quiet ways. Not broken, not weak, just different. Muscles don't hold moisture the same way they used to. Nerves don't always fire as smoothly. And circulation, the way blood moves through your legs, bringing nutrients and carrying waste, slows down, especially if you're not as active as before. But it's not just about aging. It's about how aging changes the little things most people don't notice. For example, did you know that muscle mass naturally starts to decline after 30? By the time someone reaches 70, they may have lost up to 30% of their muscle strength, even if they still look healthy. And muscles that are tired, underused, or dehydrated are more likely to cramp. That's not because you did something wrong. It's just the way the body adjusts over time. But here's the part most people miss. Cramps are often a sign that the body needs something. It could be water. It could be magnesium or potassium. It could be better blood flow. Or it could be that your nerves are overreacting because they're not being fed the way they used to be. We learned from a physical therapist at a local senior wellness clinic in Ohio that many older adults experience cramps because of a combination of things: less movement, mild dehydration, low magnesium levels, or simply tight muscles that never get a proper stretch during the day. He said something that stuck with us. The body doesn't scream without a reason. It whispers first. But when it gets cramps, it's yelling for help. That changed how he saw Grandpa's pain. It wasn't just bad luck or part of getting old. It was a signal, a cry from his legs that they needed more care, more movement, more balance. And once we knew that, we started paying attention to the small things. Like how much water he drank. Not enough, it turned out. Or how little he moved after dinner. He used to go for walks, but stopped during the colder months. Or how his diet had slowly shifted. Less fresh vegetables, fewer fruits, and a bit too much salt from frozen dinners. None of it was his fault. It was just life. Simple habits, small shifts that added up over time. And that's what makes this issue so tricky. Because the cause isn't always obvious. You might think you're doing everything right, but if one or two little things are off, your body feels it. That's why cramps happen more at night. Because that's when your body finally rests and all the stress, tightness, and imbalance that's built up during the day has nowhere to go. The muscles clench. The nerves misfire. And suddenly, you're wide awake, gripping your leg in pain. The Mayo Clinic reports that nocturnal leg cramps are extremely common in adults over 60, and while they're usually harmless, they can significantly disrupt sleep and affect quality of life. That's what happened to Grandpa, and it happens to millions of others. But the good news is, once you understand these small triggers, you can start to change them. That's the beginning of real healing. No one expects older adults to suddenly start lifting weights or running marathons. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about gentle, doable changes. Things like walking around the house after dinner, drinking a glass of water before bed, adding a banana or a handful of almonds to your evening snack. Things that are natural, safe, and surprisingly effective. But it starts with awareness. Just noticing what your body might be asking for. Grandpa had always been strong, but when he started to listen to his body, not fight it, not ignore it, he found that even at 76, he could make real progress. His legs weren't punishing him. They were calling for help. And once he answered, things began to shift. That's the message we want to pass on here. Cramps after 60 are common, but they're not random. They have reasons. And if you understand your body's rhythm, you can start to work with it, not against it. So if you're waking up at night, if your legs are aching or tightening without warning, don't shrug it off. Don't say it's just age. Say instead, my body is trying to tell me something. Then give yourself permission to listen. Because the next steps, real steps toward comfort and rest. It's funny how the smallest things sometimes make the biggest difference. At first, when we told Grandpa about this simple fix, he gave us that look. The one he used when we tried to show him how to use a smartphone. Kind but skeptical. I've lived this long, he chuckled. And you're telling me a glass of warm water and a few stretches will fix my legs? He wasn't being stubborn, just practical. After all, it's hard to believe that something so ordinary could solve a problem that had haunted his nights for months. Nighttime leg cramps aren't a joke. They come suddenly, painfully, usually when the body's trying to rest. And for Grandpa, they were more than discomfort. They were a reminder that age was creeping up, silently taking things away. But that night, something shifted. He gave in. Just to humor you, he said, pouring a warm glass of water and doing the slow stretch I'd shown him. The one that looked a little silly, the one that reminded him of his army days. That night, he didn't say anything the next morning. He didn't need to. He just looked rested. The deep lines under his eyes weren't as heavy. He moved more easily when he got up. And when we asked how he slept, he paused for a second and said, "Actually not bad." We didn't cheer or overreact, just smiled. But inside, we were hopeful. And he was too. Over the next few days, he kept doing the routine. Warm water, light stretches, early bedtime. And something began to shift. The cramps didn't stop overnight, but they happened less often, less sharp, shorter. And one night, they didn't come at all. That night, he slept 8 hours straight, the first time in almost 2 years. And when he woke up, he looked different. Not just less tired. He looked proud. Never thought something so simple could work, he said. That hit us deeply. Because he was right. Sometimes we think health fixes have to be complicated or expensive. We look for pills, machines, or long programs. But for the body, especially after 60, small, thoughtful acts often work better than big ones. And in Grandpa's case, it was that glass of warm water and 3 minutes of stretching that made the difference. According to a geriatric specialist from Johns Hopkins, the warm water helps by slightly improving circulation, hydrating the muscles, and preparing the nervous system for sleep. And the light stretches? They loosen the calf and thigh muscles, which are often tight after a day of sitting or walking. One of the stretches Grandpa liked was called the toe flex. Simple. Lie down, lift the leg slightly, and gently flex the toes back toward the knee. Hold for 10 seconds. Then relax. It looks easy, but for tight muscles, it does a lot. Another stretch was even simpler. Standing beside the bed, holding the wall, and gently shifting weight onto the toes, lifting the heels, then lowering slowly. 10 times. That's it. Over time, his legs felt lighter, more awake. The cramps faded. Of course, not everyone responds the same way. But the beauty of this routine is that it's safe, natural, and free. It doesn't interfere with medication. It doesn't require strength. It respects the body. And more importantly, it gives people back a sense of control. That's what we saw in Grandpa. He no longer felt like his body was punishing him. He felt like he could do something about it. That confidence alone made a difference. He began paying more attention to his habits. Drinking more water during the day. Moving around the house more. Even dusted off his old walking shoes. This one fix became a door to other improvements. And every small win added up. So if you or someone you love is struggling with nighttime cramps, consider this. 1 glass of warm water and 3 minutes of movement. That's it. Not a miracle cure, but a starting point. Something you can do tonight, and tomorrow, and the next day. If it helps, wonderful. If not, nothing's lost. But if you like Grandpa, it might just change everything. Because sometimes the solution isn't hiding in a doctor's office or a pharmacy. Sometimes it's waiting quietly in your kitchen and your hallway walk, waiting for you to give it a try. There was something beautifully simple about the way Grandpa's mornings began after that turning point. No longer rushing into the day or slowly limping toward the coffee pot. He started each sunrise with a small, quiet ritual that changed everything. Just 1 minute. That's all it took. 1 minute of gentle stretching at the edge of his bed. Feet flexed, calves lengthened, toes wiggled, and the cramping that once gripped his nights began to fade like a distant memory. At first, It sounded too good to be true. How could something so small make such a big difference? But when you understand how the body works, especially the aging body, it makes perfect sense. You see, as we get older, our muscles lose elasticity. They tighten, circulation slows, especially in the legs. We spend more time sitting and less time walking, and without realizing it, certain muscle groups begin to shrink or stiffen. And when you lie still at night, those tight, underused muscles can suddenly spasm. It's like a rubber band that's been stretched too long without being moved. Then suddenly it snaps. That's the cramp. That's the pain. But what Grandpa learned, and what most people don't realize, is that just 60 seconds of the right kind of movement before bed and first thing in the morning can ease that tension. It's not exercise. It's not a workout. It's just a habit. A habit that speaks to your muscles in the language they understand. Motion. Grandpa's routine was simple. Before going to sleep, he sat at the edge of the bed, placed both feet flat on the floor, and gently leaned forward until he felt a soft pull in his hamstrings. Then he pointed and flexed his toes 10 times, rolled his ankles in a circle, and stood up to slowly rise on his toes like a ballet dancer, just for a few seconds. He wasn't trying to build muscle or impress anyone. He was just saying good night to his body, thanking it for the day, and giving it a gentle reminder that it still mattered. Then in the morning, before even reaching for his slippers, he did it all again. That tiny bit of movement sent fresh blood to his lower legs, woke up the nerve endings, and told his brain, we're starting the day right. And over time, those nightly cramps that had once pulled him from sleep like a fire alarm just stopped showing up. Not overnight, but consistently, gently, like a stubborn guest who finally realizes they're no longer welcome. The science backs this up. According to the American Academy of Neurology, simple stretching routines, especially when done consistently, can reduce nighttime cramping in older adults by more than 50%. 50%. That's not magic. That's movement. And it doesn't require any equipment, gym membership, or special clothing. Just intention. Just care. One elderly woman from Oregon told us her cramps used to make her dread bedtime. I was afraid to lie down, she said. But then my granddaughter showed me this routine, and now I do it with her on video call every night. That's the power of simplicity. It brings people together. It gives you back control. What's beautiful about this habit is that it fits into any lifestyle. It doesn't require youth, strength, or flexibility. It only asks for presence. And the moment you begin to treat your body like something worth preparing for rest, you start to notice how the quality of your sleep changes too. You fall asleep more gently. You stay asleep longer. You wake up without the fear of that sharp, sudden jolt in your leg. And that, in turn, gives you more energy, more peace, more joy in the day ahead. That's not just about cramps. That's about living. Of course, this isn't a cure-all. Every body is different, and some cramps may be tied to other conditions that need medical attention. So always speak with your own doctor before starting anything new. The information in this story is for reference only. Please talk to your personal physician for the advice that's right for you. But for most healthy adults over 60, this simple habit can become a turning point, not just for your muscles, but for your mindset. Because when you start to feel in control again, even in a small way, that confidence spreads. You remember what it feels like to trust your body, to sleep deeply, to wake without dread, to feel alive. And that's the real gift. Grandpa didn't become a new man overnight. But with that 1-minute ritual, he reclaimed something he thought was gone, hope. And now, when he walks past his bedroom mirror, there's a softness in his smile. Not because he's pain-free every second, but because he knows he's not helpless. Because something so small, so doable, has restored his nights and brightened his days. That's the power of one simple habit. And if you're reading this, know this. It's not too late to try. Not too late to begin. Maybe tonight's the night you give your muscles the moment they've been waiting for. Just 1 minute. That's all it takes. And sometimes 1 minute can change everything. If there's one thing Grandpa never expected to hear from his doctor, it was that bananas could help him sleep better. Not because of some miracle or exotic property, but because of something very real and very necessary. Magnesium. The older we get, the more our bodies begin to lose important minerals, often without any obvious signs until something starts to go wrong. And in Grandpa's case, what was going wrong was happening late at night, deep in his calves, waking him up with that painful, twisting cramp that felt like a vice around his leg. But what finally changed things wasn't another prescription or fancy supplement. It was a banana. Or rather, it was what that banana provided, an easy, gentle way to restore what his body had been quietly missing. You see, magnesium plays a vital role in muscle function. It helps muscles contract and relax properly. When magnesium levels are too low, the muscles become more excitable. That's when cramps strike, and seniors, especially those over 60, are more likely to be deficient. Why? Because the kidneys become less efficient with age. Certain medications like diuretics, often prescribed for high blood pressure, can flush magnesium out of the body. Add in a diet that's lower in fresh produce and higher in processed foods, and it's easy to see why the imbalance creeps in. But here's the hopeful part. The solution doesn't have to be complicated. Nature has already given us exactly what we need. Foods that gently replenish magnesium without side effects or confusion. Bananas are one of the best-known sources. One medium banana has about 32 milligrams of magnesium, along with potassium, which also supports muscle health. But they're not the only option. Grandpa also began enjoying a handful of almonds each evening. Just 1 ounce, a small handful, gives you 76 milligrams of magnesium. Some nights he'd switch it up with a warm glass of milk and a spoonful of natural peanut butter on whole grain toast. The routine wasn't strict, but it was intentional. And over time, his nighttime cramps became less frequent, his sleep more restful, and his mornings more hopeful. He didn't feel like he was treating something. He just felt like he was taking care of himself again in a way that made sense. There's even science to back this up. A study published in the journal Magnesium Research found that older adults with chronic nighttime leg cramps often had lower levels of serum magnesium. When those levels were restored, whether through diet or supplementation, the frequency and intensity of cramps dropped significantly. Another study by the NIH showed that over 70% of Americans over age 60 don't get the recommended daily amount of magnesium. That's not just a number. That's millions of people quietly living with symptoms that could be eased, even prevented, by simple nutritional shifts. Now, of course, not every food works for every person. Some folks may need to avoid nuts due to allergies or dairy due to intolerance. That's where variety comes in. Spinach, avocados, black beans, pumpkin seeds, even dark chocolate, all are rich in magnesium and can be enjoyed in small, manageable portions. Grandpa found that a small bowl of sautéed spinach with garlic became one of his favorite side dishes. It reminded him of meals his mother used to make, bringing both comfort and healing. That's the beauty of real food. It connects us to memory while caring for our future. Still, it's important to be mindful. More isn't always better. Taking high-dose magnesium supplements without guidance can upset the stomach or interfere with medications. That's why we always say, this information is for reference only. Please consult your doctor before making any dietary changes or taking supplements. But for many seniors, incorporating just 1 or 2 magnesium-rich foods into their daily meals can be enough to start making a difference. No pills, no programs, just real food chosen with care. The biggest shift, though, wasn't just physical. It was emotional. Grandpa felt empowered. He wasn't waiting for someone to fix him. He was doing something small, yes, but something real. And that made all the difference. There's a certain quiet joy that comes from holding a banana in your hand and knowing it's part of your medicine. A kind of trust that builds not just in the food, but in yourself. And when that trust returns, so does the confidence. The peace of mind. The feeling that your body is still listening, still capable, still healing. If you've been waking at night with cramps, or if someone you love has, it's worth asking, could something as simple as a banana, a few almonds, or a bowl of beans be what's missing? Could nature's medicine cabinet be offering a solution right on your plate? For Grandpa, the answer was yes. Not overnight, not in dramatic fashion, but steadily, gently, in a way that felt right. That's why this part of the story matters so much, because it reminds us that health doesn't always come in a bottle or a bill. Sometimes it comes in a bite, a habit, a choice to nourish instead of numb. So tonight, maybe place a banana next to the bed. Maybe swap that salty snack for a handful of seeds. Maybe just start paying a little more attention to what your muscles might be asking for. Because your body speaks, even in silence. And when you feed it with love, it responds in kind. Grandpa learned that. And so can you. One bite at a time. Every night, just before bed, Grandpa would sit on the edge of his mattress, take a deep breath, and begin a simple 1-minute routine that had become as comforting to him as the evening news or the sound of his old cuckoo clock ticking in the hall. It wasn't anything fancy. No complicated stretches, no high-tech equipment, no intimidating instructions. Just a quiet, slow ritual that gently told his legs it's time to rest. And remarkably, after a few consistent nights, the cramps that had tormented him in the early hours started to lose their grip. It wasn't magic. It was motion, deliberate, mindful motion designed to relax tired muscles, improve blood flow, and reset the body's signals before sleep. What started as an experiment, recommended by a physical therapist, became one of the most important parts of Grandpa's bedtime routine, and it only took 1 minute. The routine begins with something called toe flexes. Sitting upright, with both feet flat on the floor, Grandpa slowly lifts his toes toward the ceiling while keeping his heels grounded. He holds that for 5 seconds, then relaxes. He does this 5 times, breathing deeply with each movement. This simple stretch targets the muscles in the lower leg, particularly the calves and the muscles running along the foot's arch, that are often the culprits behind nighttime cramping. It also gently stimulates circulation, encouraging fresh oxygen and nutrients to reach those muscle fibers before sleep. It's easy, it's calming, and it's completely safe for most older adults. Next, he moves into ankle circles. He lifts one foot slightly off the floor and begins making slow, clockwise circles with his ankle. 10 circles followed by 10 counterclockwise. Then he repeats with the other foot. This helps loosen the ankle joint, stretch the Achilles tendon, and relieve any tightness that's built up from sitting during the day. What makes this routine especially effective is how low impact it is. There's no strain, no sudden jerks, just steady, graceful movement that speaks gently to the body. As Grandpa likes to say, it's like giving your legs a bedtime story. The last part of the routine is what his therapist called the calf press. Still sitting, Grandpa places a rolled towel under the balls of his feet and gently presses his toes downward, as if pushing on a gas pedal. He holds a stretch for 10 seconds, then relaxes. This targets the gastrocnemius and soleus muscles, the same ones that often cramp during the night. By lengthening them before sleep, he's helping prevent the sudden spasms that come from tight or shortened muscle fibers. And because it's done seated, there's no risk of falling, straining, or overexertion. The entire routine, when done slowly and mindfully, takes just about 60 seconds. But those 60 seconds have made hours of difference in his nights. There's research to support why this works. Studies from the American Academy of Neurology suggest that regular stretching before bed significantly reduces the frequency and intensity of nocturnal leg cramps, especially in older adults. One study followed a group of seniors over 65 who added a brief pre-sleep stretching regimen to their nightly routine. Within 2 weeks, over 70% reported fewer cramp episodes, better sleep quality, and less anxiety about going to bed. The best part? No side effects, no medications, just movement. Gentle, intentional, and easy to maintain. But perhaps the most powerful effect of this 1-minute habit isn't just physical. It's emotional. For Grandpa, the act of doing something, anything, that gave him back control over his body was deeply comforting. It reminded him that healing doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful. It can be found in small, quiet choices. In the rhythm of a breath, the circle of an ankle, the press of a foot. These aren't just movements, they're messages. They tell the body, I'm here, I care, I'm listening, and the body responds. Slowly, surely, with fewer interruptions and deeper rest. Now, for those who want to try this, it's important to be gentle. No bouncing, no rushing. Each motion should feel comfortable. If there's discomfort, pause, rest, and try again the next day. Over time, the muscles will adjust. If needed, a family member can help demonstrate or guide the movement at first. Some older adults even turn it into a shared moment. Spouses stretching side by side, or grandchildren sitting with grandma or grandpa before bed, cheering them on. That's the beauty of these simple routines. They're not just about pain relief. They're about connection, about saying, you matter. Your comfort matters. Let's do this together. And remember, the information in this script is for reference only. Always consult with your personal physician to ensure any new routine is appropriate for your health conditions. Some individuals with advanced arthritis or balance issues may need to modify these stretches. But for most seniors, especially those struggling with cramps that steal away restful sleep, this 1-minute routine is a safe, effective, and empowering way to begin reclaiming the night. So, tonight, maybe set aside just 60 seconds. Turn off the TV, dim the lights, sit at the edge of the bed, and move. Slowly, kindly, like you're telling your legs, "Thank you for carrying me today. Now it's time to rest." You may not notice a difference on the first night, but over time, like Grandpa discovered, your body may begin to sigh in relief. The cramps may fade, the sleep may deepen, and your nights, once filled with pain, may once again be filled with peace. One of the simplest but often overlooked ways Grandpa began to see a change in his nighttime cramps was by paying attention to something as basic and vital as water. It sounds almost too easy to be true. Just drink more water. Yet, for many seniors, staying properly hydrated is a key piece of the puzzle when it comes to muscle cramps. Our bodies are about 60% water, and as we age, thirst signals tend to weaken. That means many older adults unintentionally drink less than they need, setting the stage for dehydration, which can tighten muscles and increase cramping. Grandpa's story echoes this common challenge. For years, he didn't realize how much his decreasing fluid intake was affecting his legs. Hydration works hand in hand with minerals like potassium, magnesium, and calcium, which play crucial roles in muscle function. Grandpa's daughter, Sarah, began helping him include foods rich in these minerals into his daily meals. Bananas became a regular snack, easy to digest and rich in potassium. Leafy greens like spinach and kale found their way onto his dinner plate, providing magnesium that helps muscles relax. Dairy products like milk and yogurt offered a gentle calcium boost. These changes weren't sudden or overwhelming. Sarah explained how small swaps made a big difference, saying, "It's not about changing everything overnight. It's about simple, steady steps that feel doable." Research backs this up. According to studies published by the National Institute on Aging, older adults who maintain good hydration and a balanced intake of these key minerals experience fewer muscle cramps and better overall muscle function. A study in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society also found that mild dehydration contributes to muscle fatigue and increases cramping risk, especially overnight. What's reassuring is that these changes don't require complicated supplements or special diets, just more mindful eating and drinking. Grandpa started setting reminders on his phone to drink a glass of water every hour during the day. Sarah prepared smoothies packed with banana, spinach, and a splash of milk that became his favorite afternoon treat. They kept a pitcher of water with lemon slices on the kitchen table, making hydration feel refreshing and inviting. Over weeks, these small habits built up, not just improving Grandpa's cramps, but his overall energy and mood. The family noticed the difference, too. Dinners were lighter and brighter. Conversations were livelier. Everyone felt more connected through these shared, healthful routines. Of course, balance is essential. Drinking too much water late in the evening might disrupt sleep with bathroom trips. So Grandpa learned to hydrate steadily throughout the day and taper off as bedtime neared. This gentle adjustment helped him avoid interruptions and still reap the benefits. He also understood that while hydration and diet could greatly help, it wasn't a cure-all. Another reason why ongoing conversations with his doctor remained important. For those watching or listening, starting with hydration is one of the easiest, most natural steps to take. Fill a favorite glass with water and place it where you see it often. Add fresh fruit slices or herbs to make it enjoyable. Choose foods that support muscle health in your daily meals. These small acts are powerful ways to take control of your well-being. As Grandpa often said, it's the little things done every day that build a healthier tomorrow. Family support plays a vital role here. Children and grandchildren can encourage hydration by sharing recipes, preparing meals together, or simply checking in with their elders. It's about creating a community of care that strengthens bonds while nurturing health. And it sends a message: you're not alone in this journey. Remember, this information is meant for reference only. Always consult your healthcare provider before making significant changes to diet or fluid intake, especially if you have conditions like kidney disease or heart issues. Everyone's needs are unique, and professional guidance ensures the safest path. Tonight, try filling a glass with water and taking a mindful sip. Consider adding a banana or a handful of nuts to your next meal. These simple, natural choices can help ease those stubborn cramps and bring calmer nights. Because even at 60 or beyond, your body deserves gentle care and the chance to feel its best. With patience and kindness to yourself, you can build healthy habits that support restful sleep and stronger muscles. And remember, every sip, every bite, every small step is a celebration of life and the love that surrounds you. After Grandpa embraced hydration and simple dietary changes, he discovered that adding gentle movement to his daily routine made a remarkable difference in keeping cramps away. It wasn't about vigorous exercise or exhausting workouts. Far from it. It was about slow, mindful activities tailored to his body's pace and needs. Movement became a form of medicine, a way to remind his muscles they were still strong and capable, even at his age. This is something many seniors might overlook, but can easily incorporate into their lives. Every morning, Grandpa took a short walk around the neighborhood with his daughter, Sarah. They didn't rush. They chatted about the birds, the flowers, and their plans for the day. These walks helped improve circulation, which is vital for muscle health and reducing cramp risks. Circulation brings oxygen and nutrients to tired muscles and helps flush out waste products that can trigger spasms. When blood flows smoothly, muscles stay relaxed and less prone to sudden tightening. Along with walking, Grandpa began practicing gentle stretching throughout the day. Instead of forcing himself into deep stretches that caused discomfort, he focused on slow, easy movements that felt good. Simple calf stretches against a wall, seated hamstring stretches, or even flexing and pointing his toes while watching TV helped maintain flexibility. This regular, low-impact stretching helped prevent the muscles from becoming too tight and shortened, which is a common cause of cramps, especially in older adults. One of the key habits Grandpa developed was avoiding long periods of sitting or standing still. Sitting for hours watching television or reading could make his muscles stiff and prone to cramping later at night. So he made it a point to stand up and walk around for a few minutes every hour. This small change made a huge difference in muscle comfort and overall energy. Movement breaks like these also benefit circulation and prevent the buildup of lactic acid or other substances that can irritate muscles. Scientific studies support the importance of these gentle movements. The American College of Sports Medicine recommends daily moderate activity and regular stretching for older adults to maintain muscle function and reduce cramps. A study published in the Journal of Physical Therapy Science found that seniors who incorporated light stretching and walking into their routine reported fewer nocturnal cramps and better sleep quality. It's proof that staying active, even gently, can support healthier muscles. For families, encouraging these habits can be a meaningful way to show care. Offering to walk together, helping set reminders for stretching, or turning movement into a fun, social activity strengthens bonds and motivates seniors to stay engaged. It's not about pressure or obligation. It's about sharing moments and fostering wellness together. Grandpa's nightly stretches became a quiet ritual where his grandchildren would sometimes join in, giggling as they tried to copy his slow toe flexes. These moments of connection added joy and made the habit easier to keep. Importantly, movement should always be comfortable and adapted to individual abilities. If there is pain or medical conditions like arthritis, it's essential to consult a healthcare provider before starting new activities. Safety and listening to the body come first. Grandpa worked with his physical therapist to find the best stretches and walking pace that suited him, making adjustments as needed. Starting with small steps today can bring big rewards tomorrow. Stand up during commercials, take a short stroll outside, or stretch your legs while sitting in your favorite chair. These simple acts honor your body's needs and remind your muscles that they are cared for. And remember, movement isn't just physical. It's a message of hope, strength, and ongoing vitality. So tonight, after your 1-minute bedtime routine, try to incorporate gentle stretches or a brief walk during the day. Invite a loved one to join you and make it a shared experience. Because living well in later years is about nurturing your body, connecting with those you love, and celebrating each small victory along the way. Like Grandpa often said, even slow steps forward are steps toward a better night's rest. As we come to the final part of Grandpa's journey, it's important to pause and recognize the strength and wisdom that comes with age. Though cramps disturb his sleep for months, he never gave up hope, and that's a lesson for all of us. What changed his nights was not magic, but steady, loving care combined with simple, natural habits anyone can start today. This story is not just about cramps. It's about how we, as families and communities, support each other in the daily quest for better health and peace of mind. Remember, this information is for reference only. Always check with your doctor to find what's best for your unique needs. Grandpa's experience shows us that it's never too late to improve. Despite being in his 70s, he began hydrating more, eating foods rich in potassium and magnesium, moving gently each day, and setting small routines that fit his life. Each step built on the last, creating a ripple effect of positive change. He often said, "I thought aches were just part of getting old, but with some effort, things really can get better." His story echoes the experience of millions of seniors across America who face similar challenges and find solutions rooted in respect and kindness to themselves. This journey also highlights the vital role of family love. Sarah's patient support and shared walks, the grandchildren's playful participation in stretches, and Grandpa's own commitment combine to create a circle of care. When we nurture one another, we don't just improve physical health. We build emotional strength and hope. The bond between generations becomes a powerful force for healing and encouragement. To anyone watching or listening, the most important message is this: you have the power to make a difference in your own life, starting with one small action today. Maybe it's drinking a glass of water right now, taking a short walk around the house, or gently stretching your legs before bed. These actions show respect to your body and open the door to peaceful, cramp-free nights. They also send a message to your loved ones. You are worth caring for, and you're capable of positive change. Many experts agree. The American Geriatric Society emphasizes holistic, simple strategies for seniors to maintain muscle health and improve sleep. These methods may not be flashy, but they are effective and accessible to everyone. By combining good hydration, balanced nutrition, gentle movement, and loving support, seniors can regain comfort and dignity in their daily lives. It's also important to be patient and kind to yourself. Changes take time, and progress can be gradual. Celebrate each small victory, whether it's one night with fewer cramps or the joy of a shared walk with family. These moments build momentum and confidence, helping to maintain healthy habits over the long term. As Grandpa often reminded his family, age doesn't define us, our actions do. Every day is a chance to care for ourselves and those we love. Let this be your inspiration to start today. No matter your age, your body deserves kindness and attention, and your family stands ready to support you every step of the way. In closing, the path to relief from nighttime cramps and better sleep is within your reach. It begins with a simple step, a sip of water, a stretch, a walk, and grows with each loving choice you make. Remember, though this advice is helpful, always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your routine. Your safety and unique needs come first. You are not alone. Many have walked this path before you and found comfort and peace. Your story can be one of hope and strength, too. So take that first step now and know that healthier, calmer nights are possible. Because even at 60 and beyond, your body can thrive, your sleep can restore, and your life can shine brightly. Just start small and keep going. Your best days are still ahead. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and listen to this story about hope, healing, and the small steps that can make a big difference. Remember, your health journey is uniquely yours, and every effort you make is a powerful act of self-love. If this video brought you comfort or inspiration, please consider subscribing to our channel for more heartfelt content designed to support and uplift you. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts or your own experiences with cramps or better sleep in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you and build a community where we all encourage and learn from each other. Together, we can make every day healthier and brighter. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and we'll see you in the next video.